Hello and welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition. All right, welcome everybody to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition, as you heard me just say, in the video. That's a thing. So, Funny Science Fiction Live, the podcast where we add ing to the end of every movie title. Like Star Trekking, The Searching for Spocking. Yeah, that movie will never be the same. That just got ruined.
Spocking.
All right, Spocking. It's a thing. So, hey, before we, it's. I don't know that it should be a thing. It's probably a thing.
It shouldn't be a thing.
It probably shouldn't be a thing.
It's like when people use Google as a verb. I Googled all over the place. No, please leave that to yourself.
I went Googling. No. All right. Some things should just not have ing on the end of them.
Things should not be verbs.
All right. So, hey, before we get into our regularly scheduled programming for tonight, we've got some really cool guests waiting in the virtual green room. So we're excited to have these guys on. But before we get into that, a couple quick reminders about things. We have 2 new show sponsors. And so we really want to just, make sure that you guys are aware of these. Now, you may have noticed the introduction about 2 weeks ago that we did introducing Level Up Lightsabers. These guys are super cool. We had Alan, the owner of Level Up Lightsaber, on not too long ago, and his interview will be broadcast here shortly, and he's going to be on a live show very, very soon here.
So much better than a stick.
So, I love his sales pitch is that his lightsabers are better than a stick. So, but with that being said, here's the video about Level Up Lightsabers, and I guarantee you're going to go want to get better than a stick when it's done.
Every time.
Excellent.
Chills. Every time.
Yes. Excellent. All right. So what we're going to do, we'll make sure that in the comment section, we'll add a link to Level Up Lightsabers. You guys can go there, check them out. And boy, howdy, are those things cool. So not only are the lightsabers cool, but they have some really awesomely built hilts that you can choose from. And when you buy a lightsaber from them, they also offer you free online training to help you become the Sith or Jedi that you have always dreamed of becoming.
I'm sorry. I'm still excited. I'm good. I'm good. And our other sponsor is River City Tees. If you're looking for nerd merch, River City Tees has you covered. Shirts, hoodies, phone cases, coffee mugs, cups, stickers, magnets. If you want a picture on it, they can put a picture on it. Pretty much. So we will include links for River City Tees and for Level Up Lightsabers below.
Yeah, I was going to put a picture up of River City Tees, but apparently with the whole computer fiasco I've had this week, I forgot to give my MacBook access to that. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Tim and technology have not gotten along lately.
We used to be BFFs, and now we're not so much.
A major Monday. I get you.
It is. We've already got some comments. Hello, John. Howdy. Jason Taylor from 3 Geeks. These fine gentlemen. Yeah, these 3 geeks. Actually, there's more like 17 geeks. If you really do the math when they're sitting there on the show, there's more than 3.
I swear geeks just don't know how to do addition, apparently.
Well, they keep spawning new geeks, every one. But yeah, so
are they like splitting with mitosis? I mean, are they?
They might be. So, and if you're familiar with 3 Geeks, and we talked about this a little while ago, our show was recommended by the Scene Snobs Network and nominated for a Snobby Award for the best in geek, nerd, and I don't remember what the other thing part of the category was.
Nerd, sci-fi, I don't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, 3 Geeks are the ones that
stole it from us.
Yeah, they beat us out. And hey, you know what? If I had to lose to somebody, I'm glad it was Jason and those guys at 3 Geeks. Those guys are awesome. They really rock it.
They're going down next year, though.
Yeah, that's your husband. That's Was. Somebody has. And Devin McVetti. What up, Devin? McVeety. I always say McVetti. It's McVeety. My bad. Sorry, Devin. I slaughter your name every single time. But yes,
Tim
love
Bicycle.
love you too, Devin. So, don't try. Well, so hey, let's get into our regularly scheduled programming here. We've got lots to discuss and lots to talk about. We've got some really cool guests in the background that are waiting for us to play this introduction video after Kathleen says a little bit something nice about the boys from Entertain This.
All right, Entertain This is a podcast encapsulating all things entertainment. Every Friday, the hosts Michael, Alex, and Nick bring a topic to the table to discuss. This topic spans all things ever to entertain mankind, but comes highly recommended by its three intrepid hosts. Listen along as they convince you it's worth your time and ask you to entertain this.
Hey, Tony, Amook, I haven't seen you in months.
That's because I've been catching up on the Entertain This podcast. They have over 50 episodes spanning everything entertainment.
Are those wise guys who did an episode making fun of our boy? What's his name?
Vinny, if you listen to the podcast, you know that's Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci,
Yeah.
All I know is if I see those boys, I'm gonna break the kneecaps.
Hey, why are you guys talking like that?
Hey, Nick.
I'm Alex.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick. We're Entertain This, a thought-provoking podcast encapsulating all things entertainment. We release new episodes every Friday live on the Scene Snobs Network. And if you're more of an audio person, we got that too. Find us everywhere you get your podcasts and entertain this.
Entertain This.
Entertain this.
And forget about
it.
Okay, so
What kind of guests are you getting us?
we're bringing in the boys from Entertain This. Now, guys, before you guys say anything, two things about your video. Number one, I love the throwback 8-bit sound. Awesome. And number two, I've watched that video like 4 times just so I can make sure that I understood what you guys are saying and because I wanted to hear the forget about it at the end again and again.
I told you guys. I told you.
It's endearing. I mean, I buy it.
Yeah.
Oh
I laughed every single time between my horrible white boy chair dancing to the 8-bit music and the the forget about it. So yeah,
That's pretty
well
good.
done. So take a
I-
moment, introduce yourselves, and say hi so everybody knows who you are and what's up.
Yeah, we're Entertain This. Though a bit chaotic, I think that our audio intro kind of says it all and gives you the vibe of who we are. We're just 3 goofballs who have a hard time taking anything seriously, and we ask for some reason that you also take us seriously as we attempt to convince you that whatever it is we're talking about in all forms entertainment, we're not exclusive to just the screen. We sometimes talk about books or albums or musicals. I don't know off the top of my head what I would say the furthest thing from what like usual entertainment podcasts talk about we've talked about, but we've talked about a lot of stuff. I think we once had an interview where like we got into the thick of what it's like trying to break into the music industry with someone who had successfully done it.
Okay.
So that's the kind of vibe we give off. We talk about all things entertainment. But anyway, I'm Alex.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick.
So there you go. Those are the voices you heard.
Everybody's kneecaps are still intact, right?
As far as we know, yeah.
There has been no kneecappings. All right, good.
Yeah, our Italian personas have yet to track us down, but I think they're still on the hunt. Yeah.
We
problem
won't
is
let
they-
them know that we've seen you.
They
all
don't
right.
leave 1940s New York. They can never
Yeah.
find us. But they keep looking. I keep getting the letters.
The ransom notes.
The postage through time like that has got to be ridiculous.
Oh, it's like Back to the Future. You just have to like hold it in a museum for a
There
little
you go.
bit, and then
Lockbox.
some
Okay.
museum curator will show up in the middle of a rainstorm. That's at least how I've gotten my last 12.
That makes sense.
I was
Lot of
wondering if it was like
rainstorms.
that weird Sandra Bullock movie where you just had to like throw it in the mailbox and You know.
Yeah, and me and my mafia persona fall in love, and
That's
then I
right.
watch him die on the streets of New York.
Oh,
That's kind of weird.
He's dying over there.
Hey, he's dying over there.
Hey, I'm trying to die over here. Hey.
Hey, stop yelling. I'm trying to die.
That's right. All right. So the theme of tonight's show, every time we do a live show, what we like to do is we like to have a couple guests on, and we like to try and throw something silly at them and see what they can come up with. And now our last couple shows, we had one group come on and try and convince us to watch the worst sci-fi that they've ever watched.
That was
and not
brutal.
Yes, it was. They picked really good stuff. It was just, the shows that they picked were awful, and they did a good job at that. And then the next one that we had on, we had Jason and Jason Taylor from Three Geeks and Casey from the Scene Snobs show on, and we talked about the best sci-fi that they've ever watched, but they had to present it to us as something awful, and so they had to try and sell it down. So that was a little more interesting. But tonight, I don't know why my voice cracked there, but that was an awesome 12-year-old moment.
You're still so young.
Tonight,
Happens to the best of us.
that's right. So tonight on Funny Science Fiction, what we're hoping to do is have you guys present to us your worst video game adaptation into a movie. So I want you to tell me why that movie sucks, but yet something that is still redeemable about it. And then Kathleen and I will also share with you ones that we selected.
There are so many options.
And if so, what we'll do is if anybody has a similar, because I don't know what Kathleen's picked, but if any of us have the same movie selected, we'll hold that until the next person, and then we'll talk about it together.
And I think too, after we're done sharing all of ours, we should have our viewers share in the comments their picks, or if there's even a video game that's redeemable, a video game movie that's redeemable at all.
Not Double Dragon.
So question for clarity.
Sure.
If we have a video game TV show that had TV release movies, do those
Done.
count?
Sure.
All right, cool.
All right.
I mean, mine's not.
Netflix
I just wanted to
adaptations.
ask for clarity reasons.
No, that's cool. Let's put it this way. If it was a video game and they turned it into any type of filmed media, go for it.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. So you guys can play rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, or you can just one of you can start talking. I don't care.
Alex,
Can we go in introduction value? Yeah. See, I do usually have a problem shutting my mouth, so it's probably good for me to go
We could just
first.
go alphabetical anyway.
Okay, we'll do that.
Still go
I still
first.
got you.
Yes, it is.
I still
Wow.
got you. I want to. So if I'm going first, I want to take the easy road out with the one that everyone's aware of and everyone agrees is bad, and that's the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah,
Anybody else have that one? It seemed like low hanging
definitely on the list.
but
definitely on the list.
It is on the list, but it was not the one I was picking.
Not the one
All
I'm
right,
picking either.
so I think I may be alone in this, which means I'll have to carry this burden on my own, and that's okay.
We believe
It is
in
a
you.
hefty task. I so do appreciate it. So let's talk about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I'm gonna pull up some fun facts while I talk about it, but pretty much the only thing you have to know is before the age of Disney making the live action movies and milking every dollar for it, so much so that they somehow circled back around to The Lion King and made another animated movie, but this time called it live action. There was a studio in 1993 who decided they were going to take the beloved characters of Mario and Luigi and they were going to make them into live action heroes. Like, and when I say live action, I also mean action heroes, like your Vin Diesel types or your Fast and Furious types, talking about giving them guns, giving them like people in New York to fight. If you thought our bad Italian accents were terrible, wait till you hear these guys. So like to the point where they didn't they didn't cast Italian people to play these two. In fact, they casted two people who didn't look like brothers. I'm pretty sure that Luigi didn't even have a mustache in the movie. So
I think you're correct. Yeah.
They weren't even trying to like make it a Super Mario movie. It was there's this thing where studios often buy bad scripts And that film is a masterpiece of garbage, is what it is.
It's now here trolling.
But there's this thing where studios will buy like decent to terrible movie scripts because they think they can make something out of them. This felt like a movie that wasn't written to be a Super Mario movie, but was close enough that it had two brothers and a bad guy they could exploit, that they turned it into a Super Mario Bros. Movie. And for
they took like a Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme movie and went, if we call it Mario and Luigi, it'll pass.
Yeah. And that's being said, let's talk about the redeeming qualities. Number one, a lot of the costume design had to get super creative to make it live action without relying on CGI. Was it good for the character or the franchise? Maybe not, but it was fun to look at. I still get nightmares from the Koopa turtle face man. He was scary looking. And I watched this at a young age, so like fresh peak nightmare age for things you saw on TV. And I for sure had some nightmares about the Koopa scary turtle man, for sure. But all in all, I would say the best redeeming quality about this movie is if you can step away from being angry about it not being as Mario and Luigi as you might want it to be, it still qualifies as a movie, and it's still a fun ride. It does. It's still a fun ride to go on. Go ahead.
Question from the class.
Yeah.
How would it not have qualified as a movie?
If it had been under an hour long runtime, I think it would have been a made-for-TV special.
Okay.
Or
okay, you got me there.
If at any point Mario or Luigi would have dropped an F-bomb, it probably would have counted as an indie film.
No, there.
So
see, I try to get all smart alecky with him, and he's like, "Well, actually,
I am the smartest of Alex."
Actually,
I'm surprised you didn't know this, old chum. But
actually, if I might interlude for a second,
I think it's funny when you look at the cast and you're like, "Why?"
Yeah,
Why?
It really was a kind of thing of. Can we get people who have never seen Super Mario ever in their lives on store shelves or watch their like 8-year-old play it? Can we get those people and convince them that this is what the game is like so that they don't quit and we can still pay them minimal money?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's
yeah. I'm looking.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the images right now, and you're absolutely correct. Yeah, neither one of them are Italian. And number two, Luigi does not have a mustache. In fact, he's played by John Leguizamo, who's easily capable of growing a mustache.
Right.
Can I read the very first paragraph in the plot of this?
Please,
and
please
just
do.
We can all blind react to that. This is on their Wikipedia page, so call me out for using Wikipedia, but here we go. About 65 million years ago, a meteorite crashes into Earth, killing the dinosaurs and splitting the universe into two parallel dimensions. Hold on, guys. There's more. The surviving dinosaurs, even though the first paragraph said it killed all of them, the surviving dinosaurs cross into a new dimension and evolve into a humanoid race.
Yeah.
And our heroes are plumbers, by the way, by trade. Like, that is a huge plot point.
It's a plot hole, if you ask
I'm
me.
just looking at the pictures again, and
Yeah, that's rough.
Really disturbing.
Oh, hold on, wait. The second paragraph's just as good. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the second one.
He's just
Sorry. If you haven't seen this movie and you hear these two paragraphs, it blows your mind that this was a real thing.
the further you read, the worse it gets.
20 years ago, a mysterious woman leaves a large egg among the rocks at a Catholic orphanage. She attempts to leave. She is accosted by President Koopa. What? Who demands the location of the rock. Rocks then fall onto the woman, killing her. This is the beginning of the movie. The woman didn't get a name. She just got rocks.
Roxanne.
Here's what made me feel I had to read this paragraph. The egg hatches and it contains an infant girl. Next paragraph. They don't go back into that in this description of the movie.
I'm getting sucker punched. It's too much. It's like,
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
It makes about as much sense as my 2.5-year-old daughter's stories. Like,
No,
That's who wrote it,
tells
actually.
better stories.
Honor's story last night was pretty fantastic. And once upon a time, there was a mama giraffe who lived in a cave and a triceratops with wings who flew around Dino Land. The end.
Wow.
Oh,
It's a short
know,
story.
right?
I like that.
that's a better movie than this.
The story was so much more
Short, sweet, to the point. What else do you want?
Written by 2-year-old.
agree.
TM. Trademarked.
Yes.
The last thing that I want to say about this is, if I say Mario and Luigi and you can only name one thing that is like their trademark, what would it be? I'll see if anyone's on the same train as me.
I would go mustaches.
Yeah.
Mustaches?
Okay. It's their colors.
Mustaches and
I was thinking
the
the bibs.
mushrooms.
Yeah. They were the overalls.
Overalls.
So for me, it's always going to be the hats.
Mm.
The Mario and Luigi hats, the M on top, the L on top, green
yeah.
and red.
Yeah.
Those do not play a part in this movie.
No, they've never been in that movie. So let's take
Why would
everything
they?
that's known about this franchise and everything that everyone understands about it.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
let's not do that.
No,
they
we're not going to do
have
that.
hats at some point in the movie, but it's like
Mario's
a
is,
newsboy. It's a newsboy cap and like a backward baseball cap.
Nope.
At least Luigi's hat is green, and I will give them exactly that much and no more.
That is all the credit the movie gets. Mario is in red, Luigi's in green. He got one thing right.
And done.
And done.
Wow.
The
The studio ran out of money before they could get the hats.
hats are easy to buy at the dollar store.
But Nate, red and green, they had to go looking for them. They couldn't afford, like dye.
Yeah, they couldn't afford to dye hats, or God forbid, just like speed order them. It was the 90s. They were selling like crazy at most KB Toys. If you guys don't remember KB Toys, you're too young to be watching this, and you should go to bed.
I remember avoiding KB Toys with my children like the plague. So
I know that feeling of being the kid who
I was-
is being lured away from the toy store.
Dragged away from it.
Yeah, me too.
That's the joy of being the oldest person in the
Unfortunately, they
room.
would try to
Okay.
drag me away from it, and then the Disney store was right across the hall.
Oh, it's
Ooh,
No, forbidden fruit. Can't go there either.
game over on that.
too much money.
All
I
right.
used to be freaked out by the Disney store because they had all the characters up in the rafters staring down at you like, you want to buy something? How about a little Donald in your life? How about that?
Mickey's gonna guilt you into buying stuff.
Nice. All right. So, what was the redeeming quality again? I missed the redeeming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie.
So no, the redeeming quality is at the end of the day.
That the end of the movie was the redeeming quality.
Yeah.
At the end of the
off.
day, it does hold the message that family triumphs over all, and the love of brothers can move mountains, and that is a nice message. I think that if you casted, say, Vin Diesel and The Rock in this movie, and you named them anything other Mario and Luigi, and you took out all the weird alien dinosaur stuff that just feels like fluff, you'd have a really good Fast and the Furious. So that's where I'm at with
And
it.
Vin Diesel and The Rock are more believable to be brothers.
And maybe even more believable to be Mario and Luigi. There's an argument to be made there.
Wow.
Nah, but which one of them's which?
Please don't.
I'm gonna
remake
leave
this
that
movie.
up.
Please don't remake.
I'm
this
gonna
movie.
leave that
Please don't
up
remake this
to
movie.
your listeners. Decide between The Rock and Vin Diesel who is who.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Jason, I love you, but I don't know, man.
Even better sequel. Okay.
I don't know if it gets. Yeah. Oh. All right, Michael, what you got?
All right, so I had a tough time picking between two. I wanted to either go with one that I think is like actually a fantastic movie, or another that I felt like personally insulted by. So I'm going to go with Anger. So the movie that I picked was the 2016 Warcraft movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
That
I don't
movie is-
know. I don't know your all's involvement with World of Warcraft over the years.
I know it's a thing. I know lots of people play it.
I have a
Alright.
character, but I
that
don't
was-
think I made it out of the tutorial.
And
Solid.
It's fair. That's very fair.
I think my highest level of exposure to that was from the TV show How I Met Your Mother. So you know.
Or
Nice.
South Park.
I think the closest I ever got to playing World of Warcraft was playing RuneScape and thinking I was playing World of Warcraft before being corrected and
They're very
chastised.
similar. It's
I was a beta
yeah.
tester for RuneScape.
Wow! Will you come on our
Incredible.
show? Because we
That's a
could
cool
definitely
story.
just market that.
Yes.
You know what was really hard about it is I was doing it on dial-up.
Oh, I remember that.
True.
I remember that.
That
Hope you weren't expecting any great phone calls to come in.
No. And then what are you doing? Playing a video game?
Nothing. Playing.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually learned the repercussions of like stealing a parent's credit card and using that to buy my game. The whole $5 a month. My dad just coming down to the basement. What is this?
Sounds like you got hacked, Dad. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Wasn't me.
Oh my god. But anyways, the Warcraft movie. So they did actually a lot of stuff really, really good in this movie. So it takes place over all of the lore that happens in the like first Warcraft game that came out in like the 80s or so. And it just establishes like this baseline of this super generic fantasy world. Nothing really too special about it. Covers all the bases of like everything you'd think from a Warcraft movie, but it just kind of goes off the rails and does a lot of its own thing that is very contradictory to like the actual Warcraft lore. And like as a fan, it was just very like personally upsetting to watch that like all unfold when I knew these stories so well to my heart. But I will say the visual style and the actual like characters themselves are very well realized. That I would say that would be the redeeming quality. Then they've got the main guy from Vikings playing the main character, and he's fantastic.
All right.
Yeah. Short, sweet, and to the point.
Very nice.
And done. All right. I have no point or counterpoint for that because I have no frame of reference other than, How I Met Your Mother. So we're gonna. So
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what you got?
Yeah, only nerds play World of Warcraft. Everyone knows that, Michael.
The movie was just called Warcraft, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see. John says the thing I appreciated about the Warcraft movie is that the CGI orcs were better actors than the live action humans.
ouch.
Very true, actually.
That is true. See,
That is the sickest burn.
I just remember the video quality being really terrible when John and I watched it, and that may have been from how we were watching it.
Yeah, and I'll add one thing to it is like if you play World of Warcraft, like even going back to the original release, like in 2002 or something, Blizzard Entertainment, the people behind it, have always made incredible like cinematics to the game. Like anytime you boot it up and it plays one of those, like you're in for a treat. The biggest thing for me is why didn't they just use that? Just use that ability and just make an animated movie doing that. And that would have been 100 times better.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, Nick, what you got?
So I've got a movie kind of from the same time period, I guess. It's a 2015 film entitled Pixels. You might have seen it. It stars our boy Adam Sandler, which we did an episode on. So apologies to Alex for disrespecting his boy.
I did make an episode of the podcast called In Defense of Adam Sandler.
Yes. It's a good show.
It's a pretty angry, emotion-filled episode where I just defend him for an hour and a half. So
I will definitely
something fun to
be
check
looking
out.
that up after this.
I think I have a pretty good point to be made.
Yeah.
Is there any mention of Opera Man in the whole hour and a half?
I don't recall.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
I had only a limited time. I had to use my strongest arguments.
I don't think this is a strong argument for Adam Sandler, but I'm gonna go in the reverse order. I'm gonna say that this is one of his redeeming. This is the redeeming quality of this film is Adam Sandler's appearance in it. So if that tells you anything based on his track record, it's not a very good film. It takes first off, let me push up my nerd glasses here for a minute. They're actually not pixels at all. They're voxels. They're volumetric pixels. See, it's the title of the movie. It doesn't.
slow blink.
Okay. Anyways.
Nick's the brains of our operation, in case you guys haven't picked up on that.
If I'm the smartest
Nick's the
person,
brains, Michael's the looks, and I'm the wild card.
there you go.
As soon as he said I need to push my glasses up for this, I'm like, oh, we're getting educated.
I try to have some infotainment in here.
We
too.
should try to
I
figure out
like
which
it.
one of us is the brains, which one of us is the looks, and which one of us is the wild card.
Nope.
No. All that does is just sow division and chaos.
Yeah, that'll
You're
get
right.
me in trouble.
But chaos
No,
is
it's pretty easy.
fun.
Nick is the
Very
brains, she's the looks, and I'm the wild card.
That actually
So,
makes a
there you
lot of
go.
sense.
It
I'm
is
a
a lot
token
of fun to
girl,
be the
so I get
wild
it.
card.
Yeah,
You know you're the
there's-
wild card if you wear your hat backwards.
Mm.
That's how you know.
Anyways, what else can I say about this film other than it kind of
Other
takes
than- Go ahead.
the whole like nostalgic 80s kind of video game arcade thing, and it tries to pull on that a little bit, but it doesn't do a very good job because there's a giant Pac-Man running through the city, and you have like the classic 80s action film thing where you guys have to come to the White House and stop the pixel invasion. It's very generic script. It's kind of cookie cutter, but it is awesome in some ways because you do get that mashup of like Donkey Kong and, like I said before, Pac-Man and all this, and it's a blast from the past. Is it worth a watch? No. Do you
In
want to
that
watch
classic-
anything?
Yes. Should you waste your time with it? No.
No, unless you're bored and you have nothing else to do, which I happen to find myself in quite often. Please help me.
In that classic meme setup, I think Pixels walked so Rampage could run. We needed to lay down the foundation so our tiny human minds could accept the giant gorilla lizard fights we would see later.
It's
the thing
yeah.
is, though, I'll be honest with you, I actually really like Pixels.
wow.
I do.
It's fun for the family.
It's one of those movies that's so stupidly premised that it's fun.
Yeah.
And if you remove yourself from all abject reasonability,
You shut off
I
the
go-
brain for a while. Yeah.
you just got to shut up. Exactly. If you shut off your brain and ignore the Grand Canyon gaps in the story, it's not so bad. Jason, we'll talk about that on Friday on Focused on 4. We don't have time for that in this show.
Nice ad plug. So nice and
Boom.
smooth.
I
Very
try.
natural.
Therapist knows all about
So
you.
that's right. No, we don't have that kind of time in this show. But honestly, I really do. I do like the show. I think there's parts about it that make me laugh. There's parts about it, Well, thank you, Facebook user. But there with Nick, they found it almost unbearable. Facebook
So
user
Yeah.
is my favorite.
So
what I'll say about Pixel furthermore is like if you get a certain cast of actors together, it's like the Konami code for knowing this is a bad script and we're just here to make money, but we're gonna have fun while we do it. And I'd say
Adam Sandler.
if the main building blocks are if Adam Sandler and Kevin James show up on
Yep.
screen together once, then it's probably one of those movies. I now pronounce
throw
you
Rob
Chuck and
Schneider
Larry.
into the mix,
Yep.
and
If Rob Schneider doesn't get hired, he sneaks onto the set, and we're happy about it, but he doesn't get paid.
Actually, no, I don't play Destiny anymore. I haven't played Destiny in a while. But-
Kick the addiction. There you go.
I'm on the 12th step. I'm good.
I thought it was a
able to
10-step program. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, well, there's the 2 extra steps where you actually convince yourself to delete it from your Xbox. But
Got to
yeah,
fit that space,
that's right.
So,
Free up that space for something
in
usable.
case you're wondering, Tim, Facebook user is Brad.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
There you go. I looked it up.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. No, yeah. So, yeah, I actually, like I said, I like.
Okay, so you liked the movie, Tim. Are
Yeah.
you an Adam Sandler fan to begin with?
I like a lot of his stuff. I don't like all of his stuff.
That's about how everyone feels. So
There-
I'm
you know,
on board with that.
Yeah.
You put Spanglish on, and I'm gonna have to turn or walk out of the room, and
Understandable.
Never even seen it. Didn't waste my time.
But Grown Ups is like one of the best movies ever.
Just having a good time. That's all.
Thank
A
you,
lot of
Facebook
people are on
user.
board with Grown Ups. I think some of his earlier stuff is where I find the most like meat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I get into that in our In Defense of Adam Sandler episode, but
Okay.
it's mostly like his big daddy. I even defend Click because I think Click honestly is a masterpiece and not a lot of people give it the credit that it's due.
It's
That's
got
good.
some good points.
You're right.
It really does.
It
I
does.
think
Deals
Grown Ups
a lot
hits
with the human
so-
experience.
Yeah, I think Grown Ups hits so much for me because it is very much what would happen if my husband, my brothers, and my brother-in-law went on vacation together. Like,
That's excellent.
Ross says,
oh,
Big Daddy kind of defines my parenting style.
Is this
sorry,
a good
that
thing?
one's my husband. That yeah, that's what I'm working with here.
We love it.
Big Daddy, not the Bioshock kind. Okay, I have to get those things.
Come on, man.
I don't
Oh,
like
yeah, that kind of
I never
fun.
got into I didn't like Grown Ups 2. I thought that was pretty awful.
The first one was fun though.
The first one's really good. I really enjoyed the first one. I pronounced you Chuck and Larry. I thought that was pretty funny. Had its moments. I mean, it's not a laugh riot. You're not going to sit there holding your gut the entire movie.
Billy
You know,
Madison is one of the best movies ever made.
Oh yeah.
Billy,
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
Billy Madison. And if you watch that, you can also see Larry Hankin in that, who we got a chance to interview. You know, go back, watch another episode with Larry Hankin. So
no plugs today.
that's right. We're
Thought of Adam Sandler for this video game based episode.
yeah. Well, it turned into a defensive Adam Sandler episode apparently. So
Once again, yeah.
I don't blame you. Once you start, you're like, come on, guys, get behind me here.
Can't stop.
Stop beating up on him. Leave him alone.
He's a good dude.
Kevin James. All right.
all right. Jason says, "I love Kevin James. He's better than Adam Sandler in comedy. Larry hates Adam." Well, there's that. That is kind of true.
Politely and respectfully disagree with you. And Jason, if any point you want to quote unquote square up,
There should just be an Adam Sandler debate.
exactly. A debate will represent our different
I love it. He's
different
like-
peoples.
We're gonna have a nerd off. You bring your
Nerd off.
Kevin James story. I'll bring my Adam Sandler. Let's do this. And I don't know why I went to a Brooklyn accent, but I did. Okay,
It
'Cause
just
it's
happened.
fun, man.
it happens.
It's fun.
easy.
It's a thing. All right, Kathleen. Bad movies. What you
Okay, so
got?
this was actually like super, super hard for me because there were so
Jason's
many
ready to
options. There are so many options.
Mhm.
The lowest of the low hanging fruit is Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That movie is
Yeah.
horrendous. Like
You're
my
right.
husband tried to force me to watch it, and I told him no, I'm not watching it. So we watched like the highlights reel clip. That was the
Nice.
highlights. Really?
Not worth your time.
Oh, you watch the ending credits. That was the highlight reel.
He found a 15-minute YouTube behind the scenes making of Street Fighter, and like the only redeemable quality of that entire movie is Raul Julia. That's it.
Yeah.
That is
Fair.
absolutely it.
It's
And
very
that
fair.
is especially when you remember that he was dying of stomach cancer while filming. He died before the movie came out. And he put his heart and soul into that movie for his sons because his sons
Mhm.
loved the video game and he wanted them to be able to the video we watched talked about he wanted them to be able to remember him in something that they love. And it's like,
Oh,
ow!
So a passion
oh that
project for him.
hurts.
There's the passion project aspect of it, but the rest of it is crap.
Yeah.
Now, this movie did come out 1 year after the Super Mario Bros. Movie hit theaters, so
Mhm.
Yes.
really getting beat up in the 90s with
They didn't learn
those.
their lesson to
You
stop.
know-
Yeah,
The 90s were a rough time for movies.
for everyone. Let's be honest.
90s were rough. Yeah, 90s were rough. Just-
it was a Wild West out there for popular culture.
I thought
Well,
the '90s were great, but
You
then
were
again-
raising kids in the 90s, though.
No, I wasn't.
True.
I
can't believe
graduated
that-
high school in '95.
I can't believe they
X.
secured Jean-Claude Van Damme for this.
Oh yeah, this is like peak
Or as Jason
his
says,
time.
how dare you say an unkind word about Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Jean Claude.
He's gonna go get on his boat and go kick that son of a bicycle.
See, but
I call him Jean-Claude Van Damage because he destroys every movie he's ever been in.
yes,
Wow.
yes, and his accent is so awful.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be playing Guile, right?
He's
Mhm.
supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
an American. So
yeah,
then
like
with
the American soldier, like da 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing redeeming about anything Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have yet to see a movie with him where I go, I'd like to watch that again.
And that was when John and I were talking about this, getting ready for the live, and it's like, I haven't actually seen the movie. I have no intention of seeing the movie. And he mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I'm like, yeah, nope, not doing it. I have never seen him in something that I liked.
Whoa, Tim, you will not be invited on Van Damme Nation.
Wow.
You know what? I'm okay with that. Jason, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the Elvis Presley of movies. There, I said it.
True.
And like John's comment, the 90s were bad for video games.
And no, Time Cop was not a good movie. I don't care.
Man, we are just lighting bridges on fire today.
This is a hot takes
We're
episode.
burning them all down. I hope y'all were cold because this is hot takes.
The 90s sucked.
They really did. I mean, that was
I have no opinions.
first 8 years of my life.
No, I would not be a Steven Seagal fan either because
No.
I like movie titles with more than 2 words in them. So
Short and sweet. Short,
No.
but yeah.
sweet. That's 2. Thank you very much.
So of the video game movies that I've actually seen, Tomb Raider.
Ooh.
I
Great
hated it.
casting.
Great casting.
You
Yeah.
have to admit, great casting at
Absolutely
the very
great,
least.
Great casting.
And
I am
that's
not-
where it ends.
I am not a huge
That's all I
Angelina
asked
Jolie fan. I am not a huge Angelina Jolie fan, but she did a great job in the movie. The
Yeah.
movie just made no sense.
Slow motion running. Anyway, but yeah, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I mean,
it was not a very good movie.
Casting John Voight as her dad, because he's actually her dad, redeemable quality.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Mhm,
The
for sure.
having a female lead, not superhero, but a female lead heroine was nice.
Yeah.
But
It was nice,
the-
but I don't think they did it the right way.
No, the
just
No,
yet.
they didn't.
over-sexualization and the slow motion running is not how you encourage girls to go out and be productive members of society.
No, but that's how you pack a studio with 18-year-old boys.
Yes,
And I
it
think
is.
And
that's
that
really what they were gunning
did.
for.
It's full of video games.
That's
is what it
really
did.
that was all they cared about.
No,
But-
it's clear that's what their intention was, and that's what they were looking for.
And I think that
I mean,
the problem I had with it was the nerd girl isolation.
Oh,
You're a girl, you're just here for your looks, you're not here for anything else, and that sucks.
yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, you
I
can
think
see
that's a
what
fair
kind of community they were brewing simply by the reactions that guys had more recently when they released the newer Tomb Raider
Mhm.
games
Yep.
that were a bit more honest with the body type of Lara Croft and a bit more respectful with it.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What did you do to her?"
And I don't
You
want to
ruined her."
I don't want to be the crazy feminist, and I'm not. It's just that
I'll be the crazy feminist for you. Like,
go ahead. It comes
We're on
across
board.
better from a man than it does from a woman, which
Unfortunately,
says
I think-
everything about feminism.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. And honestly, I have not watched the new ones, but Alicia Vikander is actually a really good actress, and so I think if I did give him a try, because I'm not a big fan of, and it might be that I didn't really ever care for the Tomb Raider games, and the movies, whatever ruined whatever was possibly left of my level of interest for them. So when the new movies came out and the new games came out based on the movies, I was like, I don't know. So
with your time.
Just never
Exactly.
got into it. Yeah, it happens.
If we
So-
have time at the end of our segment, we may file through and say possibly our favorite video game movies.
yeah. So
I don't
all
know,
right.
positive
Well,
note?
let me fire this one off real quick, and then we'll do that real quick. So mine is also from the 90s.
Surprise!
All right.
Sad
That was
face.
also when they were doing all those video game movies.
All
They
right, so
kind of
here-
gave up on video game movies for a long time after the 90s for good reason.
There was a good
Yes.
and my biggest problem with it, which by the way, it got a 17% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right.
That's enough
Yeah.
to give you food poisoning, kids. Be
Ex-
careful.
Exactly.
Rotten Tomato.
Metacritic gave it 30%, and the average Google user gave it a 5 out of 10. So,
Google users know nothing.
this is true. They like to go Googling. Anyway, my movie was released in 1997. It's the movie Spawn.
Man.
Ooh.
Spawn.
So here's the thing. That was a comic book. It was video. It was a video game. It was all over. Todd McFarlane had that, and I had such high hopes for that movie, and I do mean high hopes. Mm-hmm. So the biggest problem I have with the movie isn't with the casting. That's honestly, it's redeeming quality. John Leguizamo is fantastic in that movie. Martin Sheen plays a pretty good bad guy. And John Michael White was a perfect casting for Spawn because he was already, have all the moves. He had the body type, the build. He was perfect casting in the 90s for the Spawn character and to play Al Simmons. The storyline wasn't even that bad. Here's where I draw the line in the sand, though, and because it is the issue that I have with it is how the visual aspects of the movie. There were things that they were trying to accomplish in that movie that technology-wise they just weren't ready for. And so the problem is you have this movie that honestly should have spawned more video games. It should have spawned sequels. It should have just taken off. But because the script wasn't not the greatest, but not the worst, it was written by a horror script writer. So it was instead of being action and superhero-ish, it was written more as a horror story, which, I mean, let's face it, the Spawn story is kind of scary and
it could have been interesting.
But it could have been interesting. But that's where it kind of fell flat for me. The story wasn't as good as it should have been. It wasn't, like I said, again, not awful, but not as good as it should have been. And the efforts of CGI in the late 90s were horrible. The makeup, the prosthesis that they were putting on these people trying to do some of the things that they were trying to do, just, I'm hoping that at some point, Todd McFarlane is able to convince somebody to let him have another run at this movie. I'm hoping that Spawn gets the daylight that it deserves. And I mean, you look at what they're able to do with all these superhero movies that have come out now because the technology is there. I mean, you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, you really do believe that there's a rocket is a walking, talking raccoon and not just CGI, because it's done that well. The things that were on the Spawn screen were abominations. I don't know what they were, but they were not. It was really clunky CGI, but that was also a problem with the time in which the movie was placed. So but my redeeming quality of it is that it is extremely well cast. Like I said, Leguizamo was perfect. Jai White was perfect. You mean Rabbit? Like I said, Martin Sheen was a really good bad guy. All these different things, they had the cast in those things that were right. But it's like, again, I can see why Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 17. So anyway, that's my bad. That's my bad one.
Just remember, if there's a movie that you really love that is technically bad, quote unquote, there's always an argument to be made that if you look at it through the lens of Son of the Mask, it's still good. And I would argue that the CGI in Son of the Mask will be the worst CGI to have ever existed. And Spawn can't be much worse than that.
I don't know. It's pretty bad.
Horrendous.
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Just wait until you see these prostheses of Martin Sheen.
It's a neck and neck race. Let's put it that way.
That sounds horrifying.
It's just rough too, because Spawn was it was the perfect movie for that time period too. It was that premier edgy 90s vibe that just they could have been so much more.
Yeah. It has all the potential to be something good. So
why did I find it necessary to look up the pictures from that movie?
Yeah, well, because you have
bad idea.
You're wearing bad idea jeans, aren't you?
Sleeping tonight.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, same time period. Had opportunity to be good too. So, all right. So let's talk. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about
What is that?
comic book or video game movies that you did like. Is there one that you did like?
I want to talk about Detective Pikachu.
All right.
Okay, all right.
It's
Go
in
for
my
it.
watch
With the-
list still.
With a very serious look on my face. They did everything that we wanted the Lion King live action to do. They took characters that we loved so much in 2D, and their three-dimensional versions were so good and convincing that you were like, Pokemon might exist in Japan. I haven't been there. They might be there.
They could. Who knows?
They were so well cast, and the movie is so cute. And I think people don't give Ryan Reynolds enough credit, but every script that he's signed on to for the last couple of years have been so him, and he has absolutely destroyed.
Mhm.
I don't think, because Detective Pikachu was a video game on its own. So
Right.
that's something to keep into consideration. But even just as like a Pokemon movie, like if anybody was going to play the walking, talking Pikachu, I would have wanted it to be Ryan Reynolds because that's hilarious to me.
That's
And also
Deadpool.
the last
Yeah.
last
love-
Pokemon movie they made him talk in was bad.
And
Love
honestly,
Ryan Reynolds.
Anything Ryan
Mhm.
Reynolds, I'm willing to pull up a chair
And
and watch.
it's funny how
Even
how
Green
much
Lantern.
we love Ryan Reynolds even when he's CGI'd.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
make
because
us
we
super-
also know he hates it.
Yeah, I'll watch Green
He makes
Lantern
no bones
because
about
I
it.
know that he hates it. But honestly, he was the only redeeming
Oh,
factor in
yeah.
that movie.
Well, wasn't there like the whole thing like throughout that entire like production? He was the one who was like, "Guys, I know you're trying to like make me do this, but this is how it actually works in the comics. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually
Mhm.
a fan. This is
Yeah.
how it works. Don't ruin
Doom.
it."
Mm.
So
Doom.
on the note of Ryan Reynolds, just for a quick second, because he's brilliant. His 1-year-old daughter is currently obsessed with Baby Shark.
Mm.
Okay.
It
Aren't
happened.
we all?
It happened.
You do.
He posted on Instagram the other day that his plan of ridding her of her Baby Shark obsession is to have her watch the Shallows movie that Blake Lively's in.
Oh
Why not
no!
watch Jaws? I mean, come on.
I think we all just shuddered for that little girl. Like, oh,
Like that is
Ooh.
his plan, is have their 1-year-old watch a shark movie with her mommy in it. And then Blake Lively responded to it with at least she'll have plenty of things to tell her therapist. I'm like, parenting goals. Parenting goals.
I might want
Like-
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively to adopt me.
Right?
Uh,
I want them just to put out like all of parenting books, get rid of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and just have Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively tell us how to raise our children.
Yes.
Mhm.
fair enough.
Sorry, the
No, that's
baby
fine.
shark thing. It's a
Baby
thing,
shark. Do, do,
and it
do, do,
doesn't
do.
go away.
Good,
Dude.
good, Nick.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Nick, you got it. Keep going.
Although Baby
We're not
Shark is
singing it.
better than some other things that little kids can get hooked on.
I think our daughter needs to watch Sharknado, John says.
There you go.
Only if you're staying up with her, dude. You deal with those nightmares.
Baby Shark. Ah!
This is the little girl that went screaming hysterically because there was an ant in the kitchen yesterday. We
Just
really want
watch it.
sharks.
Yeah, good luck with that, Wasp. Let me know how it works out for you.
You
So-
guys let her watch Ants, didn't you? No, that's
No,
terrifying.
Bug's Life.
That's a good
Wow.
film. Bug's Life.
Bug's Life.
So a comic or not a video game movie that I like, and this is a bit of a stretch, so settle in for it. So if you ever played the Marvel games, Ultimate Alliance, there was Ultimate
Mhm.
Alliance 1, Ultimate Alliance 2. Ultimate Alliance
Okay.
2 was based on the Civil War.
Mhm.
So
Ooh.
Of course, that came out years ago, but the premise is still there. You know, Tony signs the pact. He's on the side of the government, and just like it is in the video game, and it actually kind of holds true who took what sides and all that kind of stuff. So, although it's kind of
It's fair.
a silly little fighting game.
Right.
You know, I still play it every once in a while. It's a fun little game to go back to.
That's a deep cut.
Oh, yeah.
That is a technicality. That's cheating. It's my show. I
Yeah,
get to
but
cheat,
it's
Jason. That's the way it works.
okay.
It's not cheating when it's your show and you make the rules.
That's right. And my rules, gosh darn it.
The rules are made up. The points don't matter.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's
So, yeah.
copywritten, and now we owe people money. Good work, Nick.
I'm sorry.
Drew Carey's gonna come for you.
He's already looking. I dare him to come find me. I'm ready.
Drew
For
Carey, Jim
reporting
Carrey.
purposes, please talk to Nick, whose last name I cannot even try to pronounce.
That's good.
This seems to be a topic of conversation in every guest spot. You should stop adding your last name, Nick.
Yeah,
Or
I'm just-
like spell it out for
Is it Mustakangas?
yeah, it's
You
pretty
nailed
close.
it. First
Whoa.
try.
All right.
Now Nick's gonna be sued. All right.
All
Thank you very
right.
much.
And going after
You know,
Nick. All right.
You can
Where
find me
does
at
that
PO
go
Box
off to?
69.
It is kind
That's
of
the
a
funny
personal
one.
challenge of Tim's to make sure that he pronounces people's last names correctly.
Well, with a last
Yeah.
name like Bicycle, you tend to learn how to pronounce names.
Mhm.
Plus, I went to school with people whose last name was Kangas. So,
Mm.
Really?
maybe,
Oh, that's
long lost relatives, when
Shout out
your
to them.
people, came over on the boat, they lost the must part. Who knows? So it could be a thing.
Okay, now try Michael's.
Savoya.
There you go.
Very well
Let's
done.
use that.
Okay, now do Alex's.
Style?
No.
No.
And then the first name is pronounced Harry, and I'll thank you very much for that.
Harry Styles.
All right. So, hey, we've only got about 4 minutes left. So we've done our best to suck up an hour talking about comic book. I keep saying comic books, but I love comic
Because
books.
we usually
If
talk
you're
about
still
comic
here.
books.
I'm a nerd. And I like comic books. That's kind of a thing. We've been talking about video games that were turned into movies, why they sucked, but what was redeeming about them. But for the last 4 minutes of let's talk about your guys' show. Let's talk about where you guys are
You
going.
get a whole 4 minutes.
I'm giving you a whole 4 minutes. Well, 3.5 really, because then there's the outro
Sticking.
video. So
It's like 3 more minutes than anyone else gives us.
hey, yeah. So we had the intro
Including our
video.
Very
listeners.
generous.
We had the intro video that talked about your show and everything else. But tell people. Now you said you have a May the 4th episode coming up, so May the 4th be with you. Let's talk about that. What do you guys got
And also
going
with
on?
your
What's
spirit.
happening?
Yeah, we have a May the 4th episode coming up. We got a couple of cool guests. Last year we did a May the 4th episode, but we were still tiny little baby boys in the world of podcasting, so it was kind of a normal episode. But this year we're pulling out all the stops. I'm still trying to convince Nick, who does our editing for the audio version of our show, to release it on May the 4th and break our Friday release schedule that we've always done.
Needs to be a thing.
And I'm hoping that we can break that. But we got some cool guests lined up to do really cool segments on it, so that's going to be something you don't want to miss. But I would argue that all of our episodes are something that you don't want to miss. You're going to learn something new about some stuff that you loved, or you're going to learn something new that maybe you never knew about. And you're going to walk away maybe feeling a little smarter, but for sure feeling at least a little dumber. And that's a promise from me to you. That's Entertain This, and you can find us on all your podcatchers as well as our website, www.entertainthis.net, and that'll link you to all of our social medias as well.
There you go. Very nice.
Easy as that.
All right. Now, do you guys post your lives to YouTube or anything like that, or?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. If you look up Entertain This, you're going to see a lot of USA entertainment videos, but if you keep scrolling, eventually you'll see our ugly faces, and that's how you'll know you're at the right spot. If you add 3 dots to it, though, I think you have a lot better chance of finding us. And it has all of our old episodes. You can watch all of them in their full visual format. When we first started doing visual formats, when we were trying to get used to it, we did a lot of visual gags. So if you listen to our
Doesn't
podcast
translate
and
well.
you were confused, then you should go check out the video version of it to get the full explanation.
I love it. Hijinks. All right.
Yes.
Oh, we're full of them. We're nothing
All right. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. We've had a lot of fun with you guys, and
Absolutely.
you guys each bring a nice perspective. Even Nick, but
An educated perspective he brings. We
Oh, no,
needed to
Nick's
call
like, what
ourselves
the
an
hell?
educational podcast. Well, he does.
He fills the quota.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
All
trying
right.
to
God bless him. We love him so much. We love him so much. It's so
You know
bad right now. He really does he brings something to the show that I think Michael and I never would want to nor could possibly do. So we appreciate Nick so much.
Well, thank you.
You guys are great. We've really enjoyed having you guys on tonight. Strongly encourage everybody watching, listening. Please go check out Entertain This with the apostrophe. These guys rock. So we've very much enjoyed. I can't talk.
Wow.
Enjoyed.
That's a new word that I love that you just made. I love
Yeah.
it.
I might enjoin to that later too. All right. Anyway, I think it's time for me to get off technology. See you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.